Rise with the lark, and with the lark to bed, observe some solemn sentimental owl. But first, before we make ourselves a fool or foul, let us inquire if the larks have any beds at all. I'm reading a book called The Gentle Art of Tramping. I think it was written in around the late 1920s or early 1930s, certainly between the Second World War and the First World War. And I came across this book purely by reading another book. That's something that happens with me. I love books, and I'll be reading something and the author will reference another book and I'll think, oh, I like the sound of that, and I'll go off and see if I can find it. And fortunately, there was somebody who'd put this on one of those sites that does reprints of old books, and it was a sensible price. The Gentle Art of Tramping is written by an Englishman, Stephen Graham, who once, well, he's telling us it's kind of an instruction manual to be free, to experience nature firsthand. And he talks about all the paraphernalia that you need, the sort of things to wear to be a tramp, not a hobo tramp like in America, or a down and out scruffy in England and what have you, although he suggests that you don't dress up for the occasion. Of course, this was written before all the modern technical wear that people like to use these days. And I'm not a great fan of all that new modern technical wear. I much rather myself, when going out walking, wear natural fibres like a tweed jacket and cotton shirts and things like that. I think they're better for the body, as we've discovered certain things in this day and age about all sorts of material manufactured products. However, that's not really the point. The point is that it is about getting outside into the elements, and how a long tramp of staying outdoors under the skies, in barns, under bushes, hedgerows, under trees, how that benefits you not to be frightened of the darkness, but to get that sense of being with nature and being free. And it's an exhilaration, actually, to read the very book itself. And it's given me thoughts about us. I mean, people who watch this channel and things like that. We talk about truth, freedom, sovereignty. And in a way, there is nothing more truthful and sovereign and more free to be walking with your own backpack and all other restrictions taken away, and go tramping across a landscape, whether that be the high mountainous regions of a different country, through the apple groves of perhaps, I don't know, Europe, or the West Country in England, or down country lanes. Whatever it is, just going for a period of a week or a month or 6 months, maybe half a year, and just being free. And it's very inspirational, because it has made me feel about what is it to be free, and what is it that we want from our freedoms. We're asking, for example, councils, and I do a lot about pushing back against the fraudulent way that the councils are collecting and coming up with the so-called debt that we are supposed to pay just for living, just purely for living in a house. And that they want to come along and they have the power to take us, effectively, to take away our wealth, and indeed, if we still don't comply, to put us behind bars, to take away our freedom and put us behind bars if we refuse to pay in their system. And I made a video about that yesterday. What is freedom to you? What does it look like? How does it feel? What does not being in debt feel like? What is a credit-based future? You see, I think we're going to go through some turbulent times. We hear a lot of that on the internet. People are saying, it's going to get tougher before it gets better. I think it will get better, and I think our future is there. Many of us who have been awake, let's say, aware, of the great harms that have happened over generations to us. Many of us who have started to look inwards, spiritually, understanding who we are, that we're not just a lump of flesh within a system which is charging us all the time and taking our energy, taking our money, but our energy effectively by keeping us working like worker bees in a hive, and who, such as the WEF and all those old cronies of people who desperate to keep us in this state, and in fact take us to the next state of transhumanism, and push us as evermore as debt slaves in a world as if there were millions of apiaries, hives that we've been shoved in, and we need to work, and when we come away from work we sit in this digital world of looking at screens and being partially part of it with the chips in our head. That, for me, some people I feel may go down that road. Some people may want to be in that digital world of non-human. But there's something about this noble art of tramping, even if it's just in our minds, of wandering around, being free to have a campfire when and where you like. Respectfully, of course, humbly, respectfully, honourably, to eat from the berries of the bushes, to share one's meal with a fellow traveller, to engage in conversation as and when, to sleep where your weary body wishes and tucks oneself away out of the others, to explore and be one with nature, walking through sunshine, drifting, dappling through the woodlands, to watch the squirrels, the rabbits, the foxes, the badgers, the insects, the birds, whatever, in and around the landscape, knowing that you're sharing this incredible planet with them, not dominating them, but sharing them. And that to me, as he describes in this, it gives you the sense of what freedom really is. Free to do the things that you want, free to run a business, let's say, small business, family-run business that is there, yes, to make a little profit, to help those people who work for you, to help your family, to bring bread and other things to the table, but not taking advantage of your workers, not taking advantage of your customers, to be there of service to mankind. These things I think we intrinsically know is good and laudable. I think we do know that. And yet we are encouraged in this current world, as we've seen with big corporations, to fleece your worker, to take advantage, well, I suppose fleece your customer, take advantage of your workers, your employees, to service the shareholders and to make as much profit as you can to the detriment of everybody else, and then sell these businesses and make further profits and become one of a small elite of people who wish to ensnare the planet and own great swathes of land. And to me, that's absolutely wrong and abhorrent, and I don't like it. I think this is going to change, but I think partly it will only change when we ourselves understand our spirituality and understand what it is to be free. I don't think that we know what it is to be free. We don't think about it. We're so trapped up in, we're so forced into the hive mind, into the worker mind, into the debt society, that we don't actually sit down quietly for a while and think for ourselves, use common sense, critical thinking, and actually think, what is it to be free? What is it I want from this world? Who am I? What am I? Am I a spirit inside a flesh and blood body? What if I am that? If I am creative, if I am powerful, if I am free, really, what does it look like? How do I achieve it? With whom shall I speak and engage in similar conversations, so that perhaps we build those communities together where we share the same ambition, we share the same philosophy, we share the same ethics and morals, and we move away from the dead world that we find ourselves in. Particularly those, I suppose, who work for these corporations, who feel enslaved and trapped and have these pensions, and the concept that you cannot leave, you cannot speak your mind, you cannot do as you wish, because if you do, the fear is you'll lose your job, you'll lose your pension, you'll lose your credibility, and all of these things. And so you feel trapped, that you have to keep on the treadmill. You cannot even entertain the concept, the idea, what it would be to be free, to use your hands, to use your mind, to work for yourself, and team up with perhaps one or two people and have a more holistic, family-run business that is based on serving humanity, serving your fellow man. And these are the people, I suppose, partly I wish to reach. Many people who are either self-employed, unemployed, who watch my videos, I think most of them are already thinking about what it means to be free, or how to get there. But there seems to be a vast number of people who cannot even entertain that idea for fear. It's the fear of losing the job and the pensions and the handouts that you get. And we need to be able to stand up, I think, for ourselves, to be brave, to be courageous, to be able to put that backpack of the things that we believe in, metaphorically, and to be able to tramp freely in this world, to look and share the wonderful pleasures in this life, to sit on a stone or on a fallen tree, to enjoy and meditate, to smoke one's pipe, if one wishes, and to contemplate. We need to be free to do all of these things. And to get there, it starts with us. It starts with our attitude of mind, that we can be free, that we will be free, that we're going to be free, and that we are already free. We need to adopt that attitude, to materialize that world, that sense of who we are and what we are and where we are, and that we are indeed a free spirit to enjoy the life ahead.